sorry. I was getting down to that jam. I kind of like that jam.
Yeah.
How are you, Dr.High? Good morning. I was dancing. I was like,
How are you?
Anyway, let me get the comments up here so I can see them. Oh, hi, everybody. Welcome in. Good morning. Good morning. Dr. High, how are you? How was your weekend? Look at the place. It's really coming along.
Yeah, looking good, eh?
Your back room, yeah, that's your office now. You said you were going to have it all set up by the weekend. It's gorgeous.
Oh, we have too much stuff.
Yeah, you have too much stuff. Oh, you brought too much stuff still?
Yeah, like a lot of boxes and stuff. Wow, like my wife's got the bottom underneath the bed completely full of broken
morning,
down
Thomas.
boxes, and then we have a washer and dryer room here, but we don't have a washer and dryer, so that's stuffed with boxes. My office closet is stuffed with boxes. And there's still
Which one of your children has a garage that
my
they're no
daughter's
longer?
got a storage room, so we might be taking advantage of that soon.
Yeah, because you don't want to pay them storage fees, man. That shit's
No,
crazy.
no,
You'll be broke in a month.
I know we just got too much stuff, but
So we have a lot going on. I don't have time to talk to you about bullshit today.
Yeah.
I mean, I love your bullshit.
Well, the first thing I want to say before we get into anything is I was listening this morning, and I just want to send out my sympathies to Lori and to Curly Kell. I know you guys are going through some tough times today. And
You really were listening.
We're here for you, and just stay strong. Time heals everything,
All right. So I got a couple things I need to say. Did you hear the word of the day? Make sure we say that. Did you hear the word of the day today?
I did hear the word of the day about the sticky, icky.
No, close. Sticky stank bud.
Sticky stank bud. That was it.
Sticky stank bud. If you have a sticky stank bud, go on over to Tailored Herbs and Concentrates in Burnt Church, Canada, up in New Brunswick.
And happy Thanksgiving to all you Canadians out there.
That's the next thing I was going to say is happy Thanksgiving to all of our Canadian friends to the north of me. Anyway.
That's it.
Happy Thanksgiving. Are you having turkey today? Is that what you guys do? What do you guys eat? Do you eat turkey on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, big turkey dinner yesterday.
Oh, you did it yesterday? You did it early?
My wife has to work today, which is beautiful. Yeah. We like when she works holidays. It's always a good thing.
Yeah, triple time or something, right? Good.
Yeah, double anyway. But yeah, so we just did our Thanksgiving last night so she can get out there and make some money today.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to the beautiful pothead who's up there listening in New Brunswick, Canada. We love you, and Damien and everybody over there at Tailored Herbs and Concentrates. And of course, our friend Slim and his beautiful wife Dawn, and everybody else up in Canada that's listening in and hanging out. We appreciate and love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. All right. So we have guests today, Dr. High.
Yeah, that's cool. Just wanted to say good morning to everybody first because we've got Tom here and Garrett and Chris. Good morning. Fable's with us. Good morning, everybody. Yes, we have guests today.
Yes, it is a good friend. I've been friends with this gentleman for quite some time. Since I started TikTok, he was like one of my first 420 people that I followed, and his name is Lee Hacker. Okay. Lee Hacker and Skunkle Al are going to come on today. Skunkle, yeah, he's Skunkle Al and Lee Hacker, and they're two fat buds, and I don't want to call them that, but that's what they call themselves.
So now we're going to be four fat buds?
Yeah, we're going to be four enormous buds.
Stay tuned, everybody. It's going to be a heavy show today.
Yeah, very heavy show, yeah. They are two great guys. They had me on their podcast a couple months back. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. They've actually asked me to come back and do another show with you or without you and you by yourself.
What, are we dropping U2 lyrics in here now?
Oh, we what?
Are we dropping some U2 lyrics in here now?
With or without you? With or with.
Of course, I'm down to do something like that. I'm always down to hang out.
That's what I figured. I told him, I said, I don't think it's going to be a no, but you got to talk to him. I can't answer for him. He's his own person.
I'm down.
He'll make his own decisions. But I want to, before we even go further into that, my goodness, what a great show last night on CBG TV.
What was it?
I don't remember.
It wasn't us then.
No, they didn't put us up there yet.
Okay. Well, we have ourselves up there when we go. So.
Oh, yeah, you did talk to Al, didn't you?
Talked to Al on Friday. Yep.
How'd that go? But before we go any further, they had a woman. It was their veteran show. I don't know what it's VAC.
This is the new show. This just started last night, I think.
Well, my goodness, it was very, very interesting.
Oh, cool.
I have no recollection of most of it. And I did not get to finish watching the whole thing. My wife made me turn it off because she was watching a movie and it was interrupting her movie.
Oh, come on.
So I have it. It's still saved, but I've watched like half of it. They had this woman on. I think her name was Nietzsche or something to that effect. Neek, maybe? Neek?
Could be.
It's not. It wasn't like a Neek. It was just like Neek or something, or Nietzsche or something like that. I'm not sure. I want to go back and look. She was amazing, and it was kind of like a round table. So there was 6 or 7 other hosts. Well, there was the one host, and then there was like 6 or 7 guests who were gonna. They basically grilled this woman. It was weird, but it was cool because
the woman was the expert.
She was the expert. Yep, and she's a nurse. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the one. Neek. Yep, there she is. Yep, this kid's good, man.
So she's got a master's in science and nursing. She's a registered nurse. In DNP, I'm not exactly sure what that stands for, but it's got to be. She could be a nurse practitioner, which means she's just like one step below a doctor.
Wow, she's amazing. Her story. She's a military. She was a Marine. Yes, she was a Marine. Her dad was an Air Force pilot.
Okay.
And she was like, "That's not tough enough for me, Dad." And her brothers didn't even go into the military at all, she said. And that she went and she said, "I'm going for it all. I'm going into the Marines." And she went into the Marines, but she got sick, I think. And
what, like sick from like PTSD and stuff, or
maybe I didn't get that far. I don't know, or if I did, it might have blacked out on me. It'll come back to me once I start watching the rest of the show. But when she was younger, and then she didn't particularly care for it.
Yeah.
And then after that, she went on and became a Marine and did her whole Marine thing. And then she came back, and then she ended up getting sick. And I don't want to misquote her illness, or if she was ill. So I could be wrong. But then she got back into the marijuana field, and then that's pretty much where I left off. Good morning, Tina. How are you, sweetie?
Good morning, Tina. Thank you, Garrett. That's great information you're pulling up fast there for us.
He's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, really good. Perhaps this episode is something you'd want to forward to Chuck.
Who the hell is Chuck?
Curly Cal's husband.
Oh, Chucky.
Yeah. You know what? Because this is, it might really go well for him, one military veteran to another.
Hi, Haley.
It may actually, give him some confidence in giving him a shot. You know what I mean?
I'm going to tell you, you can just go to CBG TV. You guys are going to be hanging out there every day anyway, because that's where Da.Hippie and I are going. Yep. You like how I call you Da.Hippie now?
Da.Hippie. Da.Hippie.
And
sorry, Haley.
And it's the Cannabis Chronicles. I'm
is it? Are we going to change it to the Cannabis Chronicles?
I don't know. I just did it today. I wrote duh. I'm used to writing duh, and then I saw it.
As long as you write DA and not DUH.
Yeah, no, it's DA. It's always DA. Duh. And it's in the clouds with Nick and Da.Hippie.
Okay.
In the clouds. Duh.
Right.
Duh. Anyway.
Sounds like Da.Hippie's trying to take over the world.
No, not at all. I'm just on this train taking a ride. It's right. Oh, by the way, it's the Muck Sticky now. No, I'm just kidding.
Sticky
now. No, that's not true. I am over there. I am considered the Sticky Hippie.
The Sticky Hippie?
That's my name over there. I don't know why I'm sticky, but I'm sticky.
It
could be this new. It's this new apparatus that hangs here between my legs.
That's right. It's got you all sticky.
I'm all sorts of sticky.
That's
no,
okay.
It couldn't be from the
every boy
buds.
When every boy goes through it when he transitions to manhood. So don't feel
right.
embarrassed or shy. I mean, the sticky is just part of the evolution.
I'm all about it. Yeah, I'm all about it.
We're good.
Excuse me. Woo! Our guests are here.
Hey, nice.
I see Skunkle Al and Lee Hacker. Both are here. Are you guys ready to hang with some cool ass dudes? Anything else we needed to talk about before this, though?
Not that I can think of. Let's get to our guests.
Nothing that we can't talk about in front of them anyway, you know.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So, all right. Without further ado, let's bring up Lee Hacker and Skunkle Al.
Hey guys.
How are you, fellas?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Good. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here with us. I appreciate it.
Oh my God, we look like a fucking WWF tag team.
A four, yeah.
Oh my God, you're in first. Hey, I want to apologize. My voice is a little rough. I woke up a little sick this morning, so I apologize.
Well, sorry to hear that.
Sending healing prayers your way.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Nice. How are you, Skunkle Al?
Not too bad, man. It's another day in paradise, right?
That's right.
It's been a while since I seen you. I haven't seen you since back when I came on your
I know, from the podcast.
Yeah, it's been I've been kind of busy, but I'm glad to see you now. Lee joined our Discord over there, and so we've been chit-chatting, getting things figured out. I'm very excited to have your guys' podcast come on to WTHC Radio. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
We're excited to have it on there, man. We really are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that it'll probably go. Well, I'm going to go once a week, right? So I'll have like a 16-week, buffer in case something ever happens. We got, I got backup, and then you guys just keep filming and then sending them to me, and then And I think I'm going to start playing them on Saturday mornings. I'm going to do a podcast on Saturday mornings with what's that guy's name? Oh, Michael Usnick, one of the weed suit heroes that I met while I was away in Ohio at OVDJ Campout. Him and I he's a comedian and a really cool dude. Are going to hang out and try to make people laugh on Saturday mornings. And then right after that, I think we'll play you. So it'll probably be 11-ish, probably around 11 a.m. on Saturday mornings. It'll be live for however long it is, a half hour, 40 minutes, whatever it is. It don't matter. If you guys want to go longer, you can. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about time restraints on my side. So if you're interested in going up to an hour, feel free. I actually have a 2-hour break there. So if you wanted to fill that out 2 hours, that would be wonderful as well. But I know I'm pushing my luck now. Anyway, how is the podcast going since the last time I've seen you? Has it been doing well? I try to keep up because I want to make sure I'm in at least second place as overviews, trying to keep a reputation here,
Well, I don't know, Hippie. You might have to trade out with your partner over there. You're the only one without a gray beard.
Oh, I got a gray
shining
beard.
Us all.
Yeah.
Maybe he looks so much younger than we do.
I know. Environment. My God.
Or
he's playing with it over there. I'm playing with it over here. It's here. Welcome in, everybody. Good morning. If you guys, good afternoon. Good morning and good afternoon to everybody. If you're over there on the West Coast, good morning. Make sure you're getting up and waking and baking. We have Skunkle Al and Lee Hacker. You guys do a podcast. It's called Two Fat Buds. I loved it. I had a great time on there. I could have stayed 2 more hours and hung out and laughed with you guys. We were having fun. I have not been able to keep up with all of them since, but I will catch up on them now, especially now that they're going to be over here. I'm very happy and thankful to have you guys over here. DoktorHigh, what do you got to say? I'm sorry, I had to swallow. Spit was in my throat.
Well, I'd like to learn a little bit more about what you guys are doing because Hippie was cluing me in a little bit this morning, and he was talking about the 420 campfire. Apparently, it's a fairly large community, and I'm really curious.
I'm sorry, 420 campfire. What's that?
Oh, I don't know. Just the sign I see behind.
You scared the shit out of me. I'm like, am I talking to the right people?
I mean, it sounds like my kind of place, right? So I'm very curious.
Jerk. You scared the shit out of me.
I'll tell you what. I'll answer
Wait a
the
minute.
420
This is
campfire
Uncle Al
question.
and Lee Capper.
And I'll let Uncle Al take care of the podcast question. 420 Campfire is a Facebook group that we started almost 3 years ago. A group of people that have met on TikTok.
Okay.
Are smoking on Facebook Messenger together. And we thought, you know what? If we're all by ourselves in our home smoking, there's got to be other people out there because of the pandemic that was going on, smoking by themselves.
Right.
Why don't we start a Facebook group, invite those people in, and get more people to come in and smoke with us?
Oh, nice.
Facebook group. That Facebook group has grown over the 3 years. We have a little bit over 10,000 members, whatever you want to call it.
Nice job.
One of the big things we offer is a live video chat room, similar to Discord that Da.Hippie runs, where it looks just like this. Everybody's on their own screen in their own home, smoking together, talking together, bull crapping together. About a month into starting this, we saw how quickly it was growing. We ran into issues with Facebook. We're actually on our third group page. Our first group page in 3 months, we had 16,000 members in 3 months.
And then they shut you down.
They shut us down because they told us two things. Number one, we were growing too fast. Number two, we had a couple of violations on our page about weed that they weren't happy with. We've understood what it is they didn't like. We've prevented that. So now we've got one that we've actually had for 3 years. In March, it'll be 3 years.
Nice.
So
being well behaved.
We decided about a month into it. I'm an admin on the page, and the other admins were talking one day, and we're like, man, there's got to be something we can do to show the world that stoners are more than just, dude, I'm high all the time, man. I don't want to get off my ass and do anything, man. That's not what a real stoner is.
That's a bad stigma that they have
out there.
Absolutely.
Stoners are some of the hardest working people out there. So we decided
infiltrated all walks of life.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So we decided, hey, what if we started a nonprofit and started raising money to help organizations? Well, what organizations do we want to help? Near and dear to my heart because I'm prior military. Al himself also. Sorry, Al is also prior military. This was before even with Uncle Al, but the admins were sitting there, and I said, I would love to help a huge pandemic in the United States, which is homeless vets.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody jumped on board immediately because that 100%. Is a huge pandemic here. Our vets deserve better than what they're getting. Yeah. That's all there's to it.
Absolutely.
I won't get into politics on it, none of that stuff. I would just say, if you're willing to die for your country should be willing to do everything they can for you. Period.
They should. 100%.
Absolutely.
And it's a great group of individuals that can benefit tremendously from the inclusion of cannabis in managing their symptoms and in the recovery process from actually be willing to give their lives for their country.
Correct.
So
100% correct.
Awesome.
Because it's federally illegal, even in states where it's legal, we were told we could not go around pass out joints to homeless. We don't do that. What we do is we do different fundraisers. We have a website where we sell garments such as this, says we support homeless vets.
Nice.
We have like my flag behind me, Al's flag, his shirt, all the proceeds we get from anything we sell on our website, 100% of that goes to the nonprofit.
Nice.
And I sit on the board. I'm the vice president of the board. We volunteer our time. No one makes a dime off of this. The only ones that get the benefit from this is organizations that actually help homeless vets, that will house homeless vets, that will rehabilitate homeless vets, that will get them into a job and eventually get them into their own livelihood with their own apartment and stuff.
Right.
That's the type of organizations that we look for.
Oh, that's
we take
awesome.
our money that we raise and we give it to them. We've done 3 donations so far.
Hold on.
Our donations aren't big.
Gentlemen, I have to pause you, please.
Oh, sorry.
It is an appropriate time for us to all take a hit. 420 song. Let's do it. Happy 420 to everybody out there. We'll be right back. You're listening to Da.Hippie and DoktorHigh with our Cannabis Chronicles with our friends Skunkle Al and Lee Hacker.
What do you got there? Nectar collector with an e-nail? Oh, that's cool. I've seen that before.
It's a seahorse.
Seahorse.
It's an electronic one.
Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Hi, Weedosaurus. How are you? 419 Garrett. Thank you. I know, buddy.
Jenna, how are you? Weedosaurus Rex. Thanks for coming, Jenna.
Right. Who wants to sit at home alone and not have somebody to talk to and get high?
I didn't get a chance to say hi to Lori. Lori, you don't
What's
have
up,
to
Lori?
apologize for being late. I know today is a tougher day. Admiral Roberts, how's it going? Sean, thanks for joining us, everybody. Kelly, how are you?
If you want answers on the positive effects of sticky rain, just hang with me and in one day we'll smoke more than you've ever seen. Hold on the time. We smoke out the pot every single
Hi, Jenna. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Nice to meet you.
every single day, every single day.
Yeah, Lori's in a 5-day jail for us.
Oh,
We
my.
love you, Lori.
Put your life on the line out there.
Still sharing the groups. Fucking hey, Lori.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Jenna, and thank you, Lori. You're amazing. We love you. She went to jail, but it was worth it because we got a new Jenna.
Yeah, there we go.
Jenna, if you have a YouTube, please go over and follow us. It's the same name, WTHC Radio. We're trying to build that YouTube. We're at 120. Can you believe it? 120 million. No, 120 people.
That would be so awesome.
No, I'll never regret it. You got to join our Discord too,
The
Jenna.
more we reach, the better we can do with getting that stigma broken. You know what I mean? That's really what it's about.
That's what our attitude is
Yeah,
about too.
we gotta be like a singular-minded community that's out there really just talking about the real potential benefit of this plant. You know?
All right, 15 seconds. 15 seconds. We're going live.
What's up, Raggy? How are you today?
WTHC, we're back. Happy 420 to everybody out there celebrating, and thank you so much for giving me another opportunity to get high today. I appreciate you. We are hanging out with Skunkle Al and Lee Hacker, and of course my buddy DoktorHigh is here with me, and we have a whole bunch of friends in the crowd out there. So we were talking about 420 Campfire. I've only been over there a couple times. The first time I got a sour taste in my mouth. I'm gonna tell you, I got yelled at. I was yelled at for being inappropriate, but that was back when I had another friend with me, and we were both inappropriate.
We do have to have rules. We do have rules in our
You
chat
have
room,
some rules.
so-
But that's what makes it great. Is that once we learn the rules, I just didn't know the
once you learn
rules.
the
Like,
rules, it's easy to get along.
I'm a
Yeah.
man behind this puppet. I don't know if you know, but I am a man, so I don't read the rules immediately. I just skip over rules. I'm like, I don't need fucking rules. I'm going right in. I went right in, and I was inappropriate, and I apologize. And I felt as though we weren't going to be welcome there any longer.
No,
But
sir.
I feel like it's been long enough that I can come back now.
You know,
They may have
it's
forgot
kind of a shame, right? Because we can see the tide is shifting. Cannabis is becoming much more prevalent in society. You have a lot of states that are opened up recreationally. You have more that are also medical. I'm in Canada, where it's wide
All
open.
across the board, it's great.
Yeah, all across
we want
the
that
board.
here.
Regarded, and that's what I'd like to see absolutely for you guys, because this
Southern Belle, how are you, young lady? Welcome in,
all.
everybody.
You know what I mean? No harm comes from it. You were talking about veterans earlier. It's kind of a shame. We follow what the VA is talking about with their doctors, and they're okay with recommending some psychedelics at this point, which is wonderful, but they're still reluctant to move forward with allowing the doctors to recommend medical cannabis to veterans, which is, tragic, really. It really
So
is.
tell them what they do in
It is.
Canada. I don't know if they know. They might know, but
Well,
what they do with the
last
veterans
year-
in Canada.
The Canadian government spent $167 million supplying cannabis to vets.
5,
Yeah,
4,
I'm
3,
sorry.
2, 1.
My
Campfire.
hearing is off a little bit. Did you say your government is
Yes.
supplying cannabis to your vets?
Yes. 100%.
Isn't that a joke? Meanwhile,
charge-
we're over here looking like dumbasses.
Yep, 167 million last year came out of the
Welcome
budget.
in. I see a 5, 4, 3, 2,
Canadian
1
Force
campfire in the chat over there. I don't know. I think we're supposed to smoke.
Yes, we are.
That's a rule over it. I can't get my joint in my hand, right?
It's not a
That's
rule, it's a
That's
suggestion
a
over
rule
a
in the
campfire.
campfire over there. If
Yes.
somebody writes, they usually say it because we're talking. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 campfire, and everybody has to take a hit.
Everybody takes a toke together. We virtually toke together, yes.
Every time,
Nice.
every time. The bad thing is Dr. High, and I learned this very quick over there at the campfire, is it happens a lot. Every time somebody comes in the room, every time somebody leaves the room, every time somebody gets a wild hair up their ass. I was there 20 minutes. You wonder why I was inappropriate. I was fucking baked.
If
20
you
minutes.
look at the demographics, visitors tend to stay about 17 minutes and then they fall asleep. Huh?
Woo, 420 over
We,
there is every 30 seconds. I mean, geez.
Yeah, we do a lot of tokes. I host a game night every Sunday at 8 p.m. And on average, in an hour, we take about 100 tokes.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Every
Yeah.
and what
But you
night
know
is
what?
that?
A whole lot of
Sundays at 8
playing
p.m.
beer pong. You know,
Yeah.
better than playing beer pong, that's for sure. 100 tokens.
Right.
an
And I
hour.
bet half the people don't even have to drive home because they're at home already.
Exactly,
Yep,
right?
That's
we're all
correct.
comfortably sitting in our own house.
And
away.
if they had to, they'd only have to wait like 20 minutes or so, and they'd probably be already on their way back down and feeling all right to drive.
That's it.
That's
That's the great
just
thing
it. I
about
mean,
weed.
it's crazy. Yeah, that's the
Yep.
amazing thing. And there's just so much. Anyway, Dr. High, what else? Tell them. Come on.
Well, I'd like to talk to Skunk Lau a little bit now about the podcast and what you guys, you know, how you run your shows, what's your type of content? You know, are you focusing educational? Is it all recreational? What sort of things are you doing with the podcast?
Okay, those are quite a few questions all at
Yes.
once.
I know.
So,
Well, take your time. We have 2 hours to kill, so
yeah,
don't go rushing through them. Feel free to take your time.
I will try to answer them the best that I can. You may have to remind me of the list again, though, so I can
this group.
pick things off. But
We all have
one
to
of
be reminded.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that the podcast does is we try to educate people about marijuana, cannabis, right? We want them to get the truth about cannabis.
Yeah.
If I get onto a couple government sites, there is so much stigma still being pushed through the government site.
Yeah.
And it's not true.
No, I know.
You know, it's like if you're smoking cannabis, you know, you're supposed to get a, well, Narcan doesn't work or anything like that. But what do you do if you overdose? Well, my response is, I don't overdose. I fall my ass asleep, man. I can't smoke enough. There's no way.
I don't know if you guys got it, but I got it. Overdose.
When you look at Narcan, they are now looking at adding CBD to Narcan because they find that with the addition of CBD, Narcan is more effective.
Really?
Yeah. So
Thank
they've
you
been doing some studies
so
with this,
much
and
for
they're
coming
finding
by.
there's great potential with the addition of CBD to Narcan to increase the effectiveness of that in bringing people back. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
it really is.
Little Big D says hello to the Campfire family.
How you doing, Dwayne?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about the stigma, right? We even see it, right? Because we go through articles. We'll pull articles up during the show and we'll read them off from, you know, Marijuana Moment or from anything like that. And you see some of these articles that are written, and even though they're intended to be fairly serious, they have to throw the little stoner jabs in, right? They have,
Oh, yeah.
they have to diminish the content to some extent to try and perpetrate and continue, or perpetuate, I should say, continue that cycle of thinking that if you use cannabis, you're somehow not a full member of society, or you're not up to the snuff of the rest, or whatever.
Yeah, you're a dirtbag. You're a dirtbag. You're
Yeah.
a bum. You're a lazy.
Exactly.
Which is
You're a lazy,
Oh,
no good dirtbag. That's what they say. You know, I've been called that a few times.
Yep.
Who's fighting dogs over there?
That's me. Sorry.
Skunkle Al. No dog fighting. We don't support that.
No, they're not fighting. They're
Oh.
basically going outside right now.
Oh, it's outside time.
Yeah.
It's gonna go
We're
out
very
like
excited.
6 giant German shepherds.
oh nice,
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
I love
We have-
German shepherds.
We have 5 German shepherds.
5.
So-
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, name them.
Yes, there is Anastasia, Sebastian, Cassandra, Gunner, and Honey.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
All right. Anyway, 4, 3, 2,
2,
1.
1,
Campfire.
campfire. Okay, so we were talking about the stigma that the
Yep.
podcast does, and we try to put truthful facts out there. I do a lot of research about facts. Almost every show, I try to get something out there. Excuse me. Let me see. Content-wise, we fly by the skin of our pants.
As we
Yeah.
Yeah, we're men. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
We gotta set.
Absolutely.
My wife will come in here. She'll be like, "Why don't you just set it all up so it's all and you have it all ready?" And I'm like, "No,
No, it doesn't
get
work
out
that
of
way.
here.
It
Get out
doesn't
of
work
my
that
room."
way.
well,
Yeah,
for
no.
everything we did to get ready.
Yeah, but then she has to hear me bitch and moan the whole time too. I'm like, I got so much shit to do. I got no. And she's like, "Let me help you. Why don't we organize?" And I'm like, "No, get away! I don't want your help."
So Garrett put into the chat, Two Fat Buds is a cannabis-themed podcast. It aims to provide reliable information, build a cannabis community, and advocate for sensible cannabis policies whilst destigmatizing and elevating the cannabis industry and culture. That's phenomenal. That's exactly what we're trying to do. We're right on the same page, totally in alignment
That's
with each
why
other.
I said I would love to have
Yep.
them over here because
And that's why we're so happy that you guys are bringing our podcast.
we're going to
over
help
WTC
each other.
Radio.
Absolutely.
We can help
100%.
each other. Yeah, we can
Yep.
help each other
No,
grow.
this is
And
And one thing I can tell you guys, for both of you, because you may have different applications for them, but I have 25 books written on cannabis and specific medical conditions.
Wow.
I'm willing to give you complete access to send them out to any veterans you choose that may feel benefit from, a book about cannabis and PTSD or anxiety and depression.
Carenza.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, any of these
That's
sort
really
of
cool
things
of you.
that they're dealing with, because really what it's about, right, is because of the stigma, there are still people who are hearing that cannabis may help them, but are just not sure, right? Just
Yeah.
not convinced. And the books that I've written have zero opinion of my own in them. It's simply a compilation of the studies that have been done on these particular conditions and their relationship to cannabis, and analyzed and just put there in plain language so that they can read what's there, understand it, and if they want to go deeper, they're all linked to the studies. So you can just click on the links, go directly to the National Institute of Health or Harvard Medical School or wherever the studies have been done and read the full thing themselves. So really what they're designed to do is to take somebody, to give them enough confidence to say, you know what, I'm suffering with PTSD. There are 30 studies here that show that PTSD can be beneficial with the inclusion of cannabis therapy. I think I'm ready to talk to my doctor. Right? So that's what we try to do is get people to the doctors and explore the potential of the plant, because we really need to improve quality of life for people. That's what it really comes down to. You know, it may not cure any diseases. It may not, work without the addition of traditional medicine, but it can help improve quality of life. And that's really what it's all about at the end of the day. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
I have been using probably 5-6 years now.
Okay.
And once I retired, everything came rushing back. You know, my PTSD kicked in, everything. It just, my body shut down. My mind kind of shut down with it, you know. I had to get help, and the VA, I had to ask the VA for help specifically. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any money. I was scared shitless. I didn't know what, I was scared crapless.
Not too worried about that.
Oh, fuck that. Don't worry about it.
All right. You know, I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from, and I needed help right now. So I went to the VA. They gave me some medications, you know, and it started a long dating episode between the VA and I on, let's see which pill to take to, you know, fix what's going on with you.
Right.
And
Hi, Charlene.
I would rather smoke weed, to be honest with you, than take all them pills. The weed calms me down. I'm strictly an indica guy. If you give me sativa, I get jittery, I get anxious, I get, you know, it's not a good fit for me.
Right.
Me too, Skunkle Al. Nothing to be ashamed of.
And hell no, absolutely not. So I do the indica, and, you know, not only with the stigma that's out there, there's a lot of ignorance that's still out there as well.
Yeah.
Curly Kell, our friend Curly Kell, met some ignorance the other day after 13 years of dealing with her doctor.
Yeah.
She finally had the courage to go in and tell her doctor that she smoked marijuana, and they called her stupid and a drug addict and all sorts of other stuff. Made her cry.
Her doctor said this to her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
doctor said
Yeah.
this, called a patient stupid for cannabis.
Well, she said, I don't want to say she called her. She said, "What are you, stupid?" So
no, the doctor is, unfortunately, and that just proves it right there.
She didn't technically call her stupid, but she kind of asked her if she was stupid. So, I mean,
well,
if you want to get
I have a good one for you. Okay, I have a boat, a 22-foot pontoon that I have docked 17 miles from my house, and most summer days and normally all summer evenings, I'm out on it, and I'm smoking. I'm enjoying, you know, a good time. I just anchor in the middle of the river, and, you know, I watch the clouds float by.
And it's so peaceful and beautiful out there. I can only imagine.
It is.
I can imagine.
So my doc had a party, right? And of course I went to it. My wife and I did, and we brought stuff, and they were drinking their adult beverages, and I figured, okay, well, I'll smoke my adult smoke.
Yeah.
Right? Good trade-off. And then all of a sudden, you know, they're like, whoa, you can't smoke that around here. This was open air. And they say, you know, how many people here they have CDLs, you know, they have to pass a piss test. You can't be smoking this out here.
That's not going to affect them.
secondhand smoke. Come on.
I know that.
Foolish.
You know that. And, you know, it just blew me away, man.
I'd like to go back to what you were talking about when you said that you started with cannabis 5 or 6 years back.
Yeah, sure.
What was it that convinced you to give it a try? Was it somebody that you knew? Was it just you had heard some information and thought,
it was
something else is working, let's try this? Or
it was actually my girlfriend's at the time son who was smoking it, and I had no clue what type it was.
Right.
You know, it was just a cheap ass street weed. And you know, I think we got it out of a brick, if that tells you how long it was. The good shit, yeah. But
you're still
anyhow,
picking out seeds.
Hell yeah, man.
You're still picking out seeds out of that shit.
Yep, no doubt.
Fucking
But
bitches.
man, it got you higher than
Sure.
eagle titties, that's for sure. But anyhow, we were talking about. Wait a minute. Go ahead, Doctor. Clue me in again. I just lost my thought.
I was wondering what was the catalyst that brought you to cannabis. How you transitioned and found that this might be a viable
short-term memory loss.
Yeah, short term, very short term.
That was the catalyst that brought him to
the girl that I was dating. Her boy was smoking it, and I was curious. And he's like, "Here, man, try this." And I tried it, and after that, I was absolutely hooked. I started researching it. Now, you know, I am a nurse by trade. I spent my entire life in the medical profession.
Okay.
And it's my nature to research stuff that I'm curious about. So before I went any further, I started researching it, and then I got my medical card, yada, yada. And we're here today, and, you know, I'm professing all the good things that happen, as well as some of the bad things that happen to it.
You have to know both sides. You have to be impartial when you're educating. It's important because everybody benefits from cannabis. Some people do have negative consequences or unpleasant experiences. They're very small percentage of people, but they are out there.
Let me interrupt for a second. That's another part of the conversation that I was watching last night on the CBG TV show. That they were talking about how, now I forgot what the hell I was just going to say.
We were talking about having
the negatives of cannabis.
From cannabis.
From what? Say it again. I'm sorry.
Negative
cannabis.
Right. Yeah. And they were talking about the people having that illness that is coming out.
Cannabis hyperemesis.
Yeah. All of a sudden, this new illness that's come out. That's the word. Yes.
The new illness.
the new illness that, okay, now that's like the medicine's going to mix with your weed, and you're not going to be able, it's not going to perform appropriate. It's going to make you drowsy.
Yeah. The new illness is actually bullshit that's among us.
Bullshit that's among us.
Right. Exactly.
That's funny. How about you, Lee? Have you always been a cannabis user, or did you come
my cannabis story goes a little bit further back than ours. I'll tell you, I did smoke back when I was in high school.
Okay.
I had one of a good friend of mine lived across the street from the high school, and at lunchtime we'd go to his house. He'd roll a joint, we'd smoke, and go back to school. Sometimes we never made it back to
my
school,
buddy lived like
early 80s.
Yeah, my buddy lived like 4 doors down from the high school. We used to go to his house every day, get baked, decide whether we were going back or not. If we had beer, we weren't going back.
We would decide after smoking a joint, we were gonna watch a movie, we gotta go back. What are we doing? Skip a lot of school.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had very strict parents religiously, and my father was prior military, was also a drill sergeant in the military. So my household, I never once walked in my door with weed on me in my house ever.
Right.
So I joined the military, got away from weed. Actually became a military policeman.
Okay.
I enforced weed laws in the military.
Right.
I'm a hypocrite. I'll be the first one to admit I was a dumbass at the time.
Right.
I was doing what I was told.
Yeah.
Yes. 9 years ago, I was in a terrible accident. They put me on pain pills, and let me tell you, I like them.
Okay.
I like them too much. After being on them for a while, I went to my doctor and said, "Doc, you cannot prescribe these to me no more." He goes, "Why not?" I said, "My 30-day supply doesn't last me 30 days because I'm enjoying these, and I'm afraid I'm going to overdose on these."
Right.
He goes, "What are you going to do about your pain?" Well, at the time, I lived in Washington State. Washington State had medical marijuana. Before I went to my doctor, I started researching marijuana because I knew I wanted off these pills, but I didn't know what was going to benefit me. So I went to Reddit, of all places, Reddit, and was actually reading the stuff on there because Google wouldn't give me shit. Everybody goes to Google to find stuff. No, I was going to Reddit.
Hide that information in Google.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, I'm going to try cannabis. I'm going to try medical marijuana. He said, good luck. 9 years I've been a medical marijuana patient since. And the benefits that I've had are mind blowing. Not only has it helped, it doesn't take away the pain. Nothing takes away the pain, period.
No.
The pills didn't take away the pain. The weed doesn't take away the pain. It makes it to where I can tolerate the pain.
Yeah.
Where I can manage the pain, if that makes more sense.
Well,
yeah,
what
absolutely.
it
It's
does,
100% what I'm doing. It's 100% like your story's almost the same.
when you're in pain all the time, I think what happens is that it makes you angry, right? Because it's a shitty way to be. So what it does is it creates an anger inside of you, not an anger towards any individual or anybody outside of it, but just an anger about your situation and the frustration of being there.
Right,
And
but then you do end up taking it out on family and friends.
Yes, you do because you have to make something, right? We can only bottle things up so much and for so long before eventually it's gonna come out. But the cannabis,
my situation cost me a marriage, a 20-year marriage.
Yeah.
And shout out to my ex-wife. We're still friends. We've grown since then. We were friends before we got married. We're still friends now. I'm remarried. Love my wife to death that I have now. Yeah. But I do feel guilt for what I put my wife and my children through while I was trying to deal with my own personal demons.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that would make total sense. So that's great. You both have really interesting stories about what brought you to cannabis and how you transitioned in. So, and you both did the research, right?
Yes,
You're just jumping
100%.
in. And I understand what your stance comes from.
I was ignorant.
Yeah, I was.
I really was. If I would have done the research, have you guys ever seen the video of the guy that goes by weed for the first time since he was in high school, and he puts it in a bowl and he takes his lighter and he's put it up against the glass to try and smoke
underneath?
Underneath, yes. Instead of putting it on the flower. Wrong one, exactly. You don't watch too many movies, man.
All right. I got to run a commercial or 3 or 4, so we'll be right back. You're hanging with the Hippie and DoktorHigh. We have Skunkle Al and Lee Hacker from Two Fat Buds and 420 Campfire. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Campfire.
Hey, this is Hippie. Why don't we take a ride to Dauphin, PA?
Dauphin? What's in Dauphin? Oh, but I thought you were hanging out with Facebook and on TikTok.
That's only on Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturdays, Sundays. Today, I want to go there and pick up all my great finds.
That sounds like a great road trip. That's Bella's and Badass Crystals on TikTok and Facebook. But you can also find them at the top of the mountain in Dauphin, PA. They are badass.
Badger Heart Puppetry. Badger Heart Puppetry. Badger Heart Puppetry. If you need some kick-ass puppets, contact Sorge at 1-636-234-1535. He has all your puppet needs. He can fix puppets, build puppets, custom-made puppets. He has puppets off the rack for cheap prices. Contact Sorge today at 1-636-234-1535 or on TikTok or Facebook at Badger Heart Puppetry. He also makes LARPing items too.
Are you in the Ellensville or Middletown, New York area? Revamp your space with Collins Paints Ltd. Ugly walls? Let Collins Paints Ltd. add a splash of color to your world. Collins Painting is a veteran-owned and operated business. They can transform your space to whatever your heart desires. Say goodbye to
Jag
boring
in the
paint
house. Welcome in, Jag.
Bright, vibrant colors. The Collins Painting team are a group of skilled
we can
professionals.
talk during your commercials?
Your vision in reality.
Yeah,
Collins Paint
sometimes
Ltd.
we do.
Shout out to all the Campfire people that came over from the link. I appreciate you guys coming in and supporting WTHC Radio's Live that we're doing right now. Thank you.
869-8176.
Say bye-bye to bottled water. Holistic Health Water has certified medical-grade water ionizers that make 7 types of water, including healthy alkaline. There's a 5-micron filter that lasts up to a year, and each machine lasts 25 to 30 years. Simply attach to your faucet or install under your sink. Even get a mineral spa unit for your shower. Go to ownyourwater.org to get a free ebook. Plus, pay for any machine in full and get an extra filter free. Change your water and change your life.
Hey, you.
Ownyourwater.org.
You.
You're right,
you
Derek.
crochet made by hand stuff like
You're right.
to do for you? Then you need to check out You Have Me Hooked 23 on Etsy and TikTok. Vern can do what you need. She crochets hats, she crochets animals, everything, anything you may need. She also makes vinyl stickers, banners for your business. Anything that you might want that she can do, she can definitely do it for you. Want an I sticker? She's got you covered. Anything you may need, she has cheap and reasonable prices. Check her out. You Have Me Hooked 23 on Etsy and TikTok.
Discover the natural path to wellness at Tailored Herbs and Concentrates.
Herbs.
With a passion for holistic health, we are your trusted source for premium herbs and concentrates.
Wait a minute. Do they have weed?
Our dedicated team is here to guide you on your wellness journey. Open 7 days a week, 10 to 10, ensuring you have access
Piece of information.
to concentrates most. Tailored Herbs and Concentrates is located at
Pot.
2941 Highway 11, Burnt Church, New Brunswick, Canada. If you need assistance anytime,
I need assistance. I need weed.
just call 506-871-4299. Tailored Herbs and Concentrates.
Where all the potheads go.
What up, yo? It's Muck Sticky, and I highly recommend you check out the Hippie and DoktorHigh show on Facebook and YouTube. Monday through Friday from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern, baby.
WTHC, welcome back, everybody. Don't forget, if you go into Tailored Herbs and Concentrates today and you tell them that their pre-rolls are filled with sticky stank bud, you're going to get a free pre-roll. That's right, a free pre-roll courtesy of Tailored Herbs and Concentrates. Just get your ass over there and tell them their pre-rolls are filled with sticky stank bud, and you're going to get it. That's it. Welcome back, everybody.
What better way to celebrate Thanksgiving?
Yeah, with a free pre-roll.
Concentrates.
Sure.
There you go.
I don't know how everybody's not up there listening every morning.
I would be.
I'd
No,
be
I
there
remove-
every day. That would be
I'll
my
be paying attention to what you're saying on the radio.
every morning. You go there, you get your free pre-roll, you pick up a couple other items, you head out the door. You're good. Yeah.
That's a great deal right there. That is an awesome deal. I'd be all over it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All you have to do is listen to WTHC radio, hear the word of the day, and you get a free pre-roll. You go in. It's all day, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. They don't do it on the weekends.
Yeah. I just did my first trip to my local dispensaries on the First Nations land.
Oh, how was it?
This week. Oh, it was nice. It was really nice. But
Oh, you went to your friend too, right? You went to that.
Yeah, I went to visit him, but I went early in the morning. He wasn't there, but I went to 6 different dispensaries. I came home with about 15 pre-rolls that they just gave, and about 15 altogether, and all kinds.
I shit myself.
All kinds of stuff. Oh my God! It's like a cannabis destination out there. It's different from where I came from.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, really. On the First Nations land up here, they do some dispensaries that are just unbelievable.
Nice.
You walk in and they'll have 150 glass jars set up, all strains, and you can open the jars, you can smell the weed, you know what I mean? All the traditional buying methods are still in place. None of this opaque containers that you can't see what you're buying, you can't smell it, you can't touch it. It might have been packaged 4 months ago for all you know. You know what I mean? So it's pretty good. Corrine asked a question. I'd like to get what you guys think about it. Corrine says, do you guys feel that the pharmaceutical or tobacco companies are going to take over the marijuana industry?
God, I hope not. I really hope
I
not.
hope.
Me personally, I think that cannabis should be regulated in the United States the same way alcohol and tobacco is.
Mhm.
I also feel, me personally, that if at 18 years old, I can sign my name on a piece of paper to my government saying I'm willing to die for my country, I should be allowed to buy cigarettes, alcohol, and cannabis at 18 years old.
Yes.
That's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
I should be able to go down to a corner store, such as here where I live, we have liquor stores. Be able to go down to a corner store and pick up a bottle and pick up a baggie if I want.
Yep.
By regulating it with the tobacco industry, they're going to make it worse.
Yeah,
They're gonna make it weak. They're gonna make it weak. I think. I think that they're gonna overtax it. There's just so much. Pharmaceutical companies right now are scared of the cannabis industry.
Oh yes,
because of how much damage it's doing to them.
Oh yes,
and their finances.
Yes.
So no, I don't want either one of those companies that have killed millions of people to make a dime off of something that's so good for people. Period.
Yeah.
Personally.
No, I get it. You know,
I agree.
I don't think the pharmaceutical industry will get involved because simply that the FDA will probably never, excuse me, give cannabis a drug identification number simply because it's not a repeatable medicine, right? Even one specific strain, if you give it out to enough different cultivators, you're going to get different results from each different harvest. Even if you're one grower who grows the same strain, 5 harvests in a season, your results will be a little bit different each and every time based on environmental factors, feed schedules, what little mistakes you may have made along the way, what you did right this time, you didn't do right last time, whatever it is, any change, any deviation will cause a change in the final end product. So I don't see pharmaceutical companies getting involved that way other than funding will fight against it. I think that'll be their greatest involvement with the industry.
If you need mouth to mouth, let me know. I'm right here.
Tobacco companies, I think, will look at the cannabis opportunity differently because they're already perfectly set up to do pre-rolls, right? Yeah. And they've had trademarked different names of cannabis cigarettes for many, many years. They had these trademarks a long time ago. They were always thinking there was a potential that this could become legal one day, and they want in somehow. So the tobacco companies probably will try to get in. The pharmaceutical companies, I don't think, will make the investment. You know, I just don't see that. I don't see that.
Again, I understand that they had the machines, they've got the trademarks on the stuff. I do not want the tobacco industry. I pay enough for them. I don't want them to make another dime.
Well, I wasn't suggesting that I was for the idea. I was just saying that that's what I could see happening, right? Because I wouldn't want to see it either. I would really like to see if I was in a position to design the legalization in the United States, what I would do is legalize it federally across the board, but make cannabis stay local.
Much love, Tom.
That would be great.
All cannabis sold in a specific state must be produced in that state. Any concentrates made from that cannabis that's grown in that state can be sold in that state. So have it state by state for production and distribution, but federally legal so you can travel anywhere with your medication. That way you include all local economies in this potential boom. Each state will have its own structure. So that would be the ideal way to do it and complete deregulation on it.
Yeah, but what if you live in a dumbass state?
Yeah, that's probably somebody.
I have the potential of living in a dumbass state right now.
Well, I'm not saying that they should be able to do anything differently. Like once federal legalization's in place, that's it. That's all. It's legal no matter what.
Yeah, but you said each state would federally, regulate their.
No, what I'd like to see is somehow designed into that cannabis that's produced in one state is consumed in that state, right? Is sold and distributed in that state. So, no matter where you live in West Virginia or Ohio or Pennsylvania or New Mexico, it allows companies to come in and smaller people, mom and pop people, grassroots people, cannabis passionate people, because what's going to happen when they just open it up like this, you're going to get these big corporations that don't care about the quality of the product they're manufacturing as much as they care about the profit margins.
Exactly.
And
absolutely.
Yeah. And microcultivation, I find the quality much higher. In Canada, we have both ends of the spectrum. You have microcultivators who can only grow 2,500 square feet worth of product. So a 2,500 square foot canopy, that's it. That's all. And then you have the big companies like the one where I worked at, where we had 56,000 square feet under light with the potential to expand up to over 200,000 square feet under lights. And I've been involved with cannabis for 45 years.
Gotcha.
I've been the legal industry for the last dozen. So
Nice.
I have seen all the different ways, right? I ran a medical grow for 4 patients, 615 plants. So that's more of the micro scale. And I've worked in the large producers too. And the culture isn't there in the large producers, right? The culture is horrible.
Sorry.
Okay.
You said 400 some plants and you call that a micro scale. To me, a micro scale is anything under 100 here in the States.
Micro scale is the one that I got over here on the side of me.
That's right.
micro.
Right?
I got one bit and that's it.
Well, one of the things that I'd like to say about that question is this.
Yep.
I agree with Lee for the most part. Well, everything that he said, I agree with it, actually. The thing that scares the crap out of me, if the pharmaceutical people would get in or the tobacco people, is this. Look at what they did to tobacco. Tobacco has so many pesticides. It has...
the shit to slow it down so we don't start fires. It's got formaldehyde. It's got saccharin. It's got sugar. I took a class when Marlboro got in trouble in New York. They offered a 8-week program to quit smoking to anybody who was a smoker. It was free to take it, and I took it and tried to quit. I quit for 2 years, but then I ended up going back like a dumbass. But in that class, it was free because they had lost that big lawsuit when they got in big trouble for whatever they got in trouble for. But then they continued to just make cigarettes. I don't understand.
So that must be like the rappers that get caught with guns that do a concert for charity and then they're off the hook.
Yeah, you're
the same idea.
Yeah.
So basically, give a couple classes out and you're good. Don't worry about it. We'll just go back to smoking cigarettes and making all your cigarettes. I'm sorry, Skunkle. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. I was just going to say, I don't want any of that crap in my weed.
No.
I don't think anybody wants any of that crap in their weed.
In New York State,
well, can I interrupt again before you go on, Dr. High? Because I know you're smart and I'm not.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about that.
let me get my nonsense out of the way. But if you're all right, so now we're saying, okay, let's say it gets federally passed, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever you guys are talking about, okay? Now, in that, all these states that have already given you the right to grow your own, hint, grow your own, should be growing your own, no? I mean, why would you even have to worry about dirt weed or the pharmaceutical or anybody? Because now I have the ability to be able to grow my own, and I'll trade with my friends if I want a different fucking strain, and I'll that's the future I see. I don't give a fuck what they do as long as I get the permission to grow my own. Then I'll be taking care of my own business from here on out. Thank you.
No, that's the way it should be. 100%.
Absolutely.
Here in Canada, when you're prescribed, when I was running that medical grow, it supported 4 patients, one of whom was myself.
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, when you're prescribed cannabis, you're prescribed in grams per day.
And that brings up a subject, by the way.
Okay, you need 1 gram a day. You need, 5 grams a day. I had 33 grams a day as my first prescription and 50 grams a day as my second. Can
I interrupt again?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just to remind you, I was talking to Steve, our friend Steve. This is kind of off topic. Our friend from Australia, Steve.
Yeah.
His prescription is 2 grams a day.
Okay.
And he's still suffering dramatically. We need to help him figure out how to tell his doctor or whatever that he needs a stronger prescription than that. I don't
simply needs to be up front with his doctor and tell him, as much as I appreciate 2 grams a day, it's just not quite it. Can we bump it up to 3 or can we bump it up to 4?
Yeah, because I'm like, how do you fucking live on 2 grams a day? That's like 2 joints, man. That's 2
When
joints.
Ohio,
that's what it would be for me.
When I first moved to Ohio and they started their medical marijuana, they were limiting patients to 2 grams a day. That was your max.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
you got
great.
a prescription and you were allowed X amount of grams within 90 days. And then you got a new prescription
He's
That's 9
got
grams in
he's
90
got
days.
100. He
Right.
gets 120 grams or 128 grams in
month.
30 days or 28 days or something like that.
And you
I'm
know,
like,
it's really
bullshit,
difficult.
man. I go through an ounce a week, and that doesn't even take care of my pain. If I could afford more, I would be smoking more, but I can't afford this shit because it's fucking outlandish here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
cannabis is different. It's not like any other medication because it's not dosed in equivalent amounts. And plus, each and every one of us are a bit individualized physiologically. That's why there are so many responses to a particular weed. If the four of us sat down and smoked the exact same joint, 4 joints from a bag, we may experience 4 different levels of high, of
Yeah.
Sensation.
of appetite enhancements or suppression,
Yep.
whatever it is, right? It's very, very individualized.
We should do that.
The doctors, yeah, it would be nice.
Mm.
But
I'd like to do
I
that.
ain't said nothing to your side of the border.
Together,
and
hanging
you
out, getting
said
high.
nothing to mine. So, but
You have to go to Canada. Yeah, is that what you just said? Because your ass can't come here.
no, I can't come down there. I was bitten by the federal government for cannabis and served 8.5 years in the States.
Oh,
for it.
geez.
So, yeah, so
Jeez,
I'm
That's a
familiar
whole
with
other can of
laws.
worms right there
It really
here in the
is.
States for me.
It
Is
is.
there shouldn't be a single person in a jail cell in a prison
Yeah.
over
Right now,
possession or selling of cannabis.
Yeah.
As long as that's all that they've done.
Yeah.
As long as that's all they've done, they should not be sitting in jail
I
right
agree.
now. Especially not in legal
I agree.
states. Period.
Yes.
especially in legal states, recreational and yeah.
That's why doctors can't nail down a prescription like that and say for somebody they need 2 grams a day, because really the relationship has to be give and take, right? The doctor has to consult with the patient, and the patient has to consult with the doctor to find the right level for that individual, what works for them.
Correct.
But what happens now in the future? All right, say everything's going okay, whatever. Now we're going to go into these places. Are they going to start saying, like, I mean, when I first started here in Pennsylvania, we had like a limit of, I don't know, maybe it was an ounce a day. I don't remember the exact number. Corinne might be able to help me. She was a part of it. But now it's that we're unlimited. You can go in and I've walked out with 3 or 4 ounces of different types of
Oh,
products.
you're talking about in your purchasing at the dispensary.
Right. So now when everything becomes legal or everybody's medical or federal. Now, I was talking to Curly Kell, and she said that there's her dispensary, the one that you always look up for her, is expanding. It's getting twice the size. They put a whole second floor on the building or something to that effect. And so she was talking to them, and they said that it's getting ready for the fact that they're going to be medical and recreational. So the downstairs is going to be medical, and upstairs is going to be recreational. And the downstairs is going to be better weed and better deals for the patients. And the upstairs is just going to be the ghetto shit weed and for the recreational people. Now, I don't know how true that is.
Well,
I mean, I believe Curly Kell. Don't think that I don't believe Curly Kell, but I don't know what New York's rules are, and what like.
You know where they really need to change the real divide should come between recreation and medical is in the ability of the people who work either in the dispensaries to communicate with the patients who come in or the retail customers who come in.
Right. Well, my point of that whole story, and I'm sorry I got off of track there, but my point of that whole story is how is any person in that place going to be able to tell me how much pain I'm in and how much weed I'm supposed to smoke to take care of my pain?
Well, I'm not suggesting that.
No, I'm not saying you're suggesting it, but I'm saying in general, like, just who's going to be the one that's going to tell me that I chose, like Lee, I picked to not go on to opiates because I had a family member who got addicted and is fighting that fight now. And I had a family member who has passed away because of that opiate addiction. And I said, you know what? And they said, you're going to be on Oxycontins for the rest of your life. And I said, no, I'm not. I don't even want them in me now. Get them out. And I said, take them out of the room. I don't want them. And they were like, your leg is broken in half, sir. You need pain medication. I said, Well, I'll take it for now, but as soon as I can get it off of me, I'm getting out of it. And I was off of it immediately, and I started smoking weed, and that's my pain relief. I have an issue, a long-standing issue, and it's really not an issue. I mean, she understands, and she's a wonderful woman. I love my wife very much, but we have an issue because of the cost of my medicine here in Pennsylvania. It's very expensive to buy medicine here in Pennsylvania. It's gone down some, but not enough. I mean, compared to other states, I hear people getting grams of dabs for $3 or $7, and I'm like, what?
That would make me suspicious.
$70 for a gram of weed, a gram of dabs here, and you're paying $7 for grams. But they just have so much, I would assume, over in those states where it's legal and recreational, and everybody's just producing. And I don't know, but
guaranteed there's a surplus in the market. Guaranteed. In Canada, there's something like 550 million grams surplus cannabis that's produced on a yearly basis here. Like, it's obscene, the overproduction that doesn't go into the marketplace. And what happens to that stuff is it just sits. It just sits. And that's why the producers are having so much difficulty with revenue.
If they have such an overflow, that's what they should be given for free to the government. I mean, to the military.
That's what should be going to the military. That's what should be going into the medical stream to reduce the costs on the individuals. I mean, this is really what should happen. And the States has to be the same. There has to be surplus cannabis in the U.S. that's not making it into market because there's being more produced. The production is higher than the demand currently. You know what I mean? You change that when you got federal legalization. Then
I was going to say, how can it not be? Every Tom, Dick, and Joe is out there trying to create their own dispensary right now. But like you say all the time, unfortunately, and 99% of them are going to fail because they don't have the capital or any way of getting the capital to back them. And it's millions of dollars to get a license now to be able to get a license.
And the banks can't lend you the money because the Banking Act hasn't gone through yet for cannabis. So there's no investment, right? There's really no venture funding or anything like that that's available to a cannabis producer or somebody who wants to start a dispensary, things like that. But the dispensaries just require better training for their employees, right? Not so much for the recreational, then it's one way, but I think people that deal with patients should have to take some sort of qualification type education, right? To allow them to talk. If somebody comes in and says, listen, I'm dealing with anxiety, what might work for me? You know, what sort of things? Not that they should be saying, oh, you should be taking 2 grams a day or 3 grams a day. They should be saying that, you know, this particular strain contains 17% THC, 2.5% CBD. It's got almost 4% terpenes. You have limonene, you have beta-carotene, you have pinol, linalool. Those are good for your relaxation. You know what I mean? This should be what you might like to try. And then the responsibility shifts on to the patient to keep a journal or a diary of the medication that they're buying and consuming, tracking the effects, and starting to learn for themselves what works best for them. That when you go into the dispensary, you can be an educated consumer. And as you've seen, it changes the game in the dispensary.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I've never told you guys. I used to go into the dispensary with a large sum of cash, sometimes into the almost $1,000, because I would like to buy for a long period of time. It's an hour and 20-minute ride for me to go to the dispensary. I don't want to make that ride every 2 days. I want to do it once every 2 weeks or so. So long story said, I forgot what I was saying.
Going to a dispensary, taking a large sum of money with you.
Talk about being an uneducated consumer.
Right. And I would go in there. Right. Thank you. I would go in there, and the place, when we first started, it was a fucking madhouse. I don't know if you guys have the same situation, but when we first started, it was, you know, you had a line down the road. It was the middle of winter. You were freezing your balls off. You're standing in line for an hour before you even got in the door. Then it was another hour inside the door. And you get up to that front, and then you got the big TV screens there, and you're like, and I can't see. And I'm like, I can't even barely read this shit.
That's it.
And I'm like, I don't know. Here's my money. You guys know what's the good stuff. Give me the good stuff. And I did that for probably 4 or 5 years, just going in and letting them pick what I wanted. I've since hung out with my new friend DoktorHigh here, and he's helped me, and I've learned so much that I go in now as an educated consumer, and they hate me because they know that I want quality stuff, and that they're going to be going and they're going to be looking at packaging, and they're going to be looking at dates, and they're going to be looking at what terps are and what all the other information that I want, because it's my medicine. And I didn't realize that I had that ability. I mean, I knew I could, but I didn't know enough about it. As you being in your generation as well, gentlemen, I'm in that same generation, maybe a little bit younger.
Where's your gray beard? Prove it.
A little bit, maybe a little bit younger than all of you, but anyway, but being in that generation, you know as well as I do that every time we went out, it was green or brown, and if you got green, you were happy, and if it was brown, you were a little sad, but you still had weed, so you were happy.
Yeah, sometimes that green
go
tastes
in
too much
there,
like
and
home
they're like, oh, we got the new peanut butter breath fucking whatever, and I'm like, oh, that sounds delicious. Is it gonna get me high? And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, all right, cool. Now I'm not. Now I'm like, but now, they just would fool me with names and whatever and tell me whatever. And I'd just fall for it. And I'd come home with dirty weed that would, like, you touch it and it would turn to powder. And you'd be like, you learn quickly not to buy certain brands because their brands are just shit. And you're like, oh, I don't know.
When you mass produce, you don't, it's so labor intensive, the production of cannabis, that if you have a facility with 5,000 plants, you need 20 people working all the time on those plants. You know what I mean? Like,
I got one plant, and I'm having a hard time keeping up with the fucker.
Hey, Dr. High, real quick, you said it earlier. There is a difference between a medical dispensary and a recreational dispensary.
There should be.
We had a friend of mine who owns a medical dispensary in Maine. Her name is Jess. We had her on episode 3 or 4. I can't remember what it was. Highly educated young lady about cannabis. And then I hear people talk about, you go in there and she'll ask you, what are you here for? What kind of pains do you have? What have you tried in the past that have benefited you? Is there a particular strain that you like? And then she'll look at the terpenes in that strain and provide other terpene-based strains.
Yes.
Instead of just saying, hey, we got peanut butter breath. Here you go. The higher the educated the bud tender is to me, the better off the patient is going to be, period.
And
period.
I agree, but the higher the patient is.
So for the business, it makes sense to educate their employees, because customer loyalty will be achieved through education, honesty, and helping people solve their problem.
Which is a long time thing, which is called customer service and knowing your job and actually caring about what you're doing instead of saying, hey, I'm getting $12 an hour here today. Yeah, hey, I'm glad.
There's way too much focus on strains, because strains can be anything. I used to move a lot of product. Right. And I would have hockey bags of product that guys would come to pick up, and they'd look at it. And let's say it was a tuna kush. This is one example that sticks out in my mind. So it's tuna kush. The guys come in, they smell it. It was really rather new at the time. Nobody had really heard about it. And they're like, tuna kush. We don't like that too much. We'll take it, but I think we're going to call it ocean kush. You know what I mean? So they just changed the name. Simple as that. So, someone looking for tuna kush goes into the dispensary, tries to find the tuna kush. It's not there, but little do they know the ocean kush was actually the tuna kush. You know what I mean? So you really have to shop more by terpenes, cannabinoid percentages, and flavonoids. They don't get into yet because they're just so minute, right? In fractions of percentages when you're finding those, but THC is THC, CBD is CBD, CBG is CBG, CBN is CBN, but the terpenes are what shape the high. The terpenes are really the component that makes that entourage effect really work. You know, what I mean? That's where people need to be more focused.
You know what time it is, fellas.
It's 4:20.
I want you guys all to get up and dance to this one with me.
I love that seahorse. That thing is awesome. I'm going to find myself.
This is our friend's calligraphy with THC.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, it's Bill Schmidt Jr., a.k.a. Billy Blaze, a.k.a. 420 Kid of the Holistic Cloud. R.I.P. to my man Derek Crow. Shout out to calligraphy. My dude Means, little homie Manuel Noriega, Big Just, Rossi, Jack the Apostle, the League.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Big buds to little crumbs broke up in the bottom. Feel like autumn leaves falling. Only problem needs solving. It's seeing some trees to indulge it. Need to holler at Billy. He keep his head in the cloud. Bel Air Kush by the bush. Wow. Screaming loud. Still smoking. Having nice dreams. Floating through space. So when they ask me how high, my reply, I'm half baked. Sir smoke a lot.
So can we talk while he's doing his thing?
Yeah.
Dude, it is very nice to meet you, and you're like a fucking goddamn THC encyclopedia, just so you know. Your education is blowing my mind. Me and Al, I've already told Da.Hippie, we would love to have you on our podcast one night.
Anytime.
Just even if it's just to promote your books on how much knowledge you have, we would love to have you. So I'll get with Da.Hippie. Somehow we'll figure out how to reach each other. We'll talk, we'll schedule. I would love to have you on the podcast, man.
I'm 100% in. 100%.
I also want to recommend that you guys interview my friend Jess, the bud tender in Maine.
Yeah.
She's in the process of actually buying that dispensary that she works at.
Oh,
It's
nice.
a medical dispensary, but she is, I don't know, I wouldn't compare her education to yours, but what she does as a bud tender, highly educated young lady.
And it's so important, right? And for me, this has come about solely through passion and exposure, right? It's experience. It's been lived.
Sunshine in my pocket on a Sunday stroll. Homie got the rap, give me the slack. Let the good times
involved in patient doctor matching.
Your soul. World, give me beat. Bel Air Kush, give me mental control.
Most people speak French here.
The studio we roll. Great relief. We the music all I need to know. Healthy in the pill pot. Mother give me herbs to fill spot. My medication kid to a kill shot. With strings in hands in stressful situations. Out of all the girls in my life, let me change the reservation.
Oh, I heard the patient side translated it for the doctor.
Stand up, provide the right education. Show love, holistic
all the knowledge, right? Just soak it all up. And
All right, Frankie B, nice to meet you.
I see what it can do for people. I really I worked in the wholesale.
Please subscribe, like, and share.
Cultivation, extraction, and accessories. For 4 years, I handled 140 accounts across Canada and 200 medical cultivators. So I learned so much from them, and it's been an awesome journey for me.
Nice.
There's nothing I'd rather do than talk about weed all day. Really, all day.
I get it. You're preaching to the choir, brother. You're preaching to the choir about it. I promise.
Yes. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. Franken Beans, I'm the real deal. Most people are pollen chuckers. Well, we love a cultivator, Franken Beans.
WTHC, we are back, and we're hanging with Skunkle Al and our good friend Lee Hacker, both our good friends, from Two Fat Buds, and Lee Hacker is the general manager and CEO of 420. No, I'm just kidding. 420 Campfire over there on Facebook. You guys all got to go check out 420 Campfire. If you haven't become a member, please go become a member, and go check out Two Fat Buds. They are on Facebook and YouTube all the time. Every Thursday night, right? Thursday nights.
We record it on Thursday. We upload it on the YouTube Friday.
Yeah,
How long have you been doing the podcast?
You're not live. You're not live when you record.
No, we pre-record and upload it to YouTube. We're on YouTube and Spotify.
We just completed our 15th episode.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're going to have a nice little head start. We'll have 15 episodes on WTHC to start with, and then as they continue, we'll just keep adding them on, and we'll just keep playing them. I'm excited to have you guys come aboard. I'm very thankful and appreciative.
Again,
You know,
Thank you very much.
On yours.
We're in a spot right now where we're starting to develop a real community of people who are going live, who are creating this type of content. And if we can all just kind of find a way to integrate with each other and work together to expand our audiences, because we all have our own,
right? Like Chardell said, educate.
Yeah, 100%. Like this is just a beautiful thing. You know, I'm so happy to have met you guys today and had you come up, and you know, it's another wonderful connection within the community, and together we can do all kind of great things, I'm sure.
Here's how I see it. My little TikTok family was here, and then I brought them into my 420 Campfire family.
Right.
WTHC Radio and Da.Hippie had his TikTok family here, and he brought them into WTHC Radio and his community. Right. Now, hopefully, we can combine those two communities, and both of us grow together and keep educating and bringing more people in to be more
positivity.
aware of the 100%. Well, always positivity, always
positivity, and there's a whole
just about to enter into a content creation agreement with the Pace Radio Network, which is people advocating cannabis education, and the Cannabis Broadcasting Group, CBG TV, where we will be providing 10 hours of content a week on each platform, along with what we're doing. It's going to be the same content, just a broader reach. And there are opportunities within those two groups for more individuals to be able to participate in that. You know what I mean? Awesome. To be able to upload your content, because right now there's not enough cannabis content to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Oh, there's not.
There's really not. So,
you said we were teasing.
What are you talking about? I'm on here like 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. All I need is one more person, and I'm good.
we were teasing the hippie earlier about not having a great beard like us. Could you imagine 18-year-old yourself tuning into YouTube, tuning into Facebook, and seeing four old gentlemen on the screen talking the positivities of cannabis back in our day?
No. When I was 18 years old, I was chasing tail. I didn't even care. I just wanted to know where my next damn bag was coming from and where I was going to get laid.
Yeah.
And if I could find some beer in the meantime, I was all right with that too.
I am very amazed that the four of us are sitting here talking about
it's crazy.
The negativities also, but the positivities of getting off pharmaceutical pills and using cannabis for medical use. You know, it's one of the things I was saying earlier was I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease. Stage 5 will kill you.
Right.
Stage 4 is dialysis.
Right.
I was 6 months away from dialysis.
Hey, Frank, I resemble that remark.
I started an RSO regimen. 6 months later, my doctor came to me and said, "What did you change?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Did you change your diet?" I said, "No, I'm still eating because I'm a fat man. I love food." He goes, "Did you start exercising?" I said, "No, I'm a disabled man that hates to fucking exercise." 7 years old, I'm set my ways. Fuck off. What do you want? He goes, "What did you do different?" So I started taking RSO on a daily basis. He goes, "What's that?" I said, "Educate yourself. It's cannabis. It is a concentrated cannabis that I learned can heal cancer. So I decided to try and heal my kidneys with it also." He goes, "Well, you went from stage 4 back to stage 3. 6 months later, I was at stage 2. And I'm still at stage 2 right now because of it."
Oh, that's awesome.
That's just me. I'm not saying it works for everybody. That's what I did, and it worked for me.
I bring you up all the time whenever, especially with DoktorHigh in the beginning when we first met. I used to tell him I know two guys, you and somebody else also told me a story very similar about being on dialysis and it being reversed and no longer having to be on dialysis. I've also spoken to another woman who had breast cancer and all of a sudden the lump was completely gone after starting an RSO regimen. And then, of course, we had Chardell on with us a couple of weeks ago. And
who's with us in the chat today.
And she's here in the chat. Absolutely. She's a walking miracle as well. And Sister Mary Jane. Mary Jane was on with us, and she's another RSO help survivor of it's just amazing. It's amazing. I feel as though everybody should be on an RSO regimen right now. Right now. I mean, why not? As a preventative. Why not as a preventative? Screw the government. Screw them. It's time we take over and start taking care of our own health, and to hell with them. You know, like
But you have to watch, right? It's like Chardell said a little bit earlier in the chat. When it comes to RSO, you got to make sure it's really RSO and not just distillate, right? So, and it's not as beneficial. What makes RSO so beneficial is its whole plant medicine. It's everything. You know what I mean? It's not just a distillate. It's not the THC isolate or CBD isolate. It's not
Curly Kell.
the
The
crystalline.
sad part, Curly Kell, is they probably did have RSO 13 years ago, and they just weren't willing to give it to us. My mom died 20 years ago, and they gave her something to my wife. They gave it to my wife under the table. She worked in a medical research hospital college, and she was the bigwig secretary. So the bigwig said, your husband or your boyfriend's mom is passing away from cancer, huh? Here, take this, do this, whatever it was. I don't remember the recipe. I was a young young 20-year-old. And my mom ended up living for 2.5 years longer. I don't know, but man, it looks awfully. I remember what it looks like. I remember what it smells like. I was a kid. I didn't think RSO. I wasn't thinking cancer treatment. Like weed was a. I was saying, Mom, you want to go get high to take care of your pain? And she was like, no, no, no. But I wasn't thinking weed's going to save her life. And then my wife came, like I said, she was my girlfriend at the time. She's my wife now. She came home with that stuff, gave it to my stepfather. And like I said, my mom lived for 2.5 years. They gave her 6 months. She lived for 2.5 years. And then she unfortunately passed away. But that was probably an RSO because it was like a black tar like stuff in a baby jar. And they had to make it, they had to boil and heat it up to get it to loosen up. And then it had an atrocious smell. And my mom said she hated the taste of it every day, but she had to take it. I don't know. RSO 25 years ago, maybe 23 years ago.
Well, it's true. And I just want to go into the comments for a second with Frank and Beans. He says, don't call it RSO, call it by its real name, which is an alcohol extraction. Very, very true. Rick Simpson doesn't deserve the credit for something that people have been doing for thousands of years. Yeah. In some ways, you're right, because all Rick Simpson did was make it more well-known, and he did work with about 5,000 people with the RSO and showed some really tremendous results along with his own results. But you're right, it's alcohol extraction. That's the way it's done, for sure. And he also says that since I joined the platform, I've known several people who've died of cancer, all consumer of cannabis, ain't no miracle drug. It's true that cannabis, miracle drug, it's a weird word to use, but cannabis doesn't cure anything that's been proven so far. It shows benefits for many different things, but it's not been proven so far to be a cure for anything. But what we care most about when it comes to inclusion of cannabis therapy in a lifestyle is improving quality of life, right? Did those people, sure enough, they may have died from that cancer that they had, but using the cannabis, did it extend their lives a little bit longer? Did it make their suffering less? Did it make it easier to come to terms with the eventuality of the
quality of life?
That's really what matters here, is the quality of life that people are experiencing. So, yeah, I would agree with it's not necessarily a miracle drug. I think it's a miracle plant. I think the plant itself has a potential, because if we were to start doing a lot more with hemp, we could change the course of global warming. We could bring down the cost of grains such as corn, because all the corn that goes to ethanol production, that could be done with cannabis. You could produce the ethanol that way. When it comes to building materials, naturally flame retardant, mold resistant, so they start making particle board and beams for homes. I mean, you know, the amount of paper that's produced by 4 acres of trees can be produced by 1 acre of hemp. So it is a miracle plant in a lot of ways, but I wouldn't call it a miracle drug.
It was my mistake. I said that I've heard it cures cancer. You're 100% right. It didn't cure cancer, but it has made some cancer patients' lives a lot easier to live and maybe extended their life longer. So that was my ignorance when I said that, and I do apologize.
Well, no, it's not, because some people have seen, and Chardell is a perfect example. She was a guest of ours not that long ago. Chardell was diagnosed with stage X esophageal cancer. Went on to a regimen of RSO after learning about it through a patient group she was involved with through the treatment center. And I mean, she's been no evidence of disease for 3 or 4 years.
I can bring Chardell up if
something
you want to bring Chardell up for the last 20 minutes.
You know what I mean? So for some people, it may be the answer. It may be the catalyst to healing, but it's not proven to be that way. The problem is with cannabis is that there's very little clinical studies that are being done, right? Because it's very difficult to do because you can't keep the same strain all the time. You can't keep the same proportions of cannabinoids and terpenes and things like that. So the clinical side's out. What we really need to look at is the anecdotal side. What do people who include cannabis in their treatment regimen, along with the traditional treatments that their physicians prescribe, what do they experience? How do they feel? Does it improve their lives? Because that's what matters. Nothing else. We know that cannabis can't kill you, right? It's not going to kill anybody. Some people, it may give them uncontrolled vomiting, right? With Hermesis syndrome, yes. Some people may experience a high degree of anxiety if they use cannabis. There's 15% of the population doesn't respond well to the plant. Period. There's nothing more to be said about that, right? So correct. 85% of people do. So it's worth a shot. You know what I mean? It's worth the shot.
I didn't almost die from cannabis, but I almost died from choking on an edible one time. My son gave me the Heimlich maneuver and I got it out and he saved my fucking life.
Wow.
That would have been like the first case ever someone possibly died. It wasn't from cannabis. It was from choking.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. Yeah, you're right, Frank and Beans. Consistency is the absolute problem in the industry. But it's just that, you know, like I couldn't even tell you how many growers in my life, and every single one of them was the best. If you ask them, they were the best. His shit was always the best shit, and everybody else's shit was shit. You know what I mean? Growers have egos. And there's no reason not to have it. You take pride in what you do. You put a lot of passion.
Are you kidding me? Do you see my plant?
But
you see my plant over there? I'm the best.
It doesn't take long to catch on. You grow your first plant. You
got a second one going already. For fuck's sake. I'm already on my number 2.
You know, there's just a lot of evidence that this is beneficial for people. I think the last time I did a check on how many different medical conditions have been studied for cannabis, and cannabis has shown potential positive effects, are close to 80. You know, 76, 77, 78 different, you know, maybe a chunk of those, maybe 15 of them are cancers. You know, glioblastomas and things like that. But for the most part, it's a real wide variety. And we had a prescribing physician from Pennsylvania on one episode, Dr. Harris. And we spoke to him about, where was I going with this? What were we talking about?
A lot of stuff. We spoke to him about a lot of stuff.
Damn weed. No, but I was talking about something and then I lost track right in the mid-thought.
Oh,
and as soon as you said, what were we talking about? My mind went blank.
Yeah, lost it. But anyway, Dr. Harris.
Harris was a great guy. That's what you were going to tell him.
Let's leave it at that. The thoughts I had, Dr. Harris confirmed. You know? But, I don't know.
A list of ailments.
Oh, right.
Thank you, Chardell, for paying attention.
Thanks, Chardell. Like he said that for doctors, it's very hard for them to wrap their heads around the fact that cannabis can be good for vomiting, but can also help with Tourette's. You know what I mean? Or is good for glaucoma, but can help somebody with Crohn's disease. Because in the medical world, one drug does one thing, right?
Yeah.
If you have this cause, this drug will take the effect. So they have a hard time wrapping their heads around the fact that cannabis is so diverse in its ability to alleviate.
Here's the other thing they can't wrap their head around. And me and Al actually did an episode on Two Fat Buds. Well, I did an episode on Two Fat Buds with Al's assistant. I went off on the medical industry on one particular pill, and I can't remember what it was. I was watching a commercial
Viagra. Don't lie. It was Viagra.
I was watching a commercial here at the house. 20 seconds of a minute-long commercial was about this drug helps cancer. The rest of it was the fucking side effects from taking that pill, and some of the side effects kill you.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Right.
I went through a whole episode where I read the side effects. I printed them out and I read the side effects and questioned, why is that pill legal when cannabis, a plant, that the worst side effects is you might puke, you're gonna get hungry, you're gonna want to take a nap. It's not killing anyone, but these medications are putting people on, and the side effects from those medications cause more medications.
I'll tell you something.
Which is
keep
ideal
us sick,
if you're a pharmaceutical manufacturer. Right?
I suffer from anxiety and panic attacks really bad. And so I used to get my prescriptions from the doctor, and I would go and I would read, whatever that prescription was. I am no longer, they don't even give me the paper. They give it right to my wife. I'm not allowed to read those because of my mental illness. I immediately have side effects. But
psychosomatic.
Yeah, it is, but it's crazy. And I guess that is crazy. But I forgot. Fuck. Killing me, DoktorHigh, with your laugh.
Oh, by the way, that's one of the side effects of marijuana.
I forgot.
Oh, there it is. That's what we were talking about, right? Yeah. But then, with Curly Kell the other day with calling her doctor and her doctor going off on her and telling her that she's stupid and that she's a drug addict. I was going somewhere with that too now, and it's gone. Fuck.
Well, this is totally out of line, right? For any medical professional to ever berate or belittle anybody. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be a support network. They're supposed to be there to help. They're supposed to do no harm. But psychologically, Kelly was very upset by that, and that isn't acceptable, right? Like a doctor that does that.
The new doctor, the good news is the new doctor took all of that woman's information and is going to probably take it into her own hands and report her for doing what she did to Curly Kell. I told Curly Kell to get a lawyer and, start, that's ethics. That's like ethics. You can't do that kind of shit. You're breaking ethics by telling your patient you're stupid and you're a drug addict. First of all, she didn't even know where Curly Kell worked. She was like, "So how's your job at American Airlines?" And she was like, "I've been waiting for 13
the plane." That's what you should have told her.
Right, that's what I told her.
Before I fly the plane. What are you talking about?
You've been my psychiatrist for 13 years. You don't even know where I work. Give me a break.
Yeah.
And then you're going to fucking scream at me and yell at me and tell me I'm a drug addict because I finally made the decision to come to you and tell you that I smoke weed. And then we looked it up, and the side effects for, she said you could get sick or whatever from these pills. They're not going to interact correctly. And DoktorHigh and I went and looked it up, and it may cause drowsiness if you smoke weed.
That was their major concern, right?
You may cause drowsiness. Oh.
You may not spend more.
Don't let me smoke any weed because I don't want to get drowsy.
Yeah, heaven forbid.
Yeah, no, it's horrible, but they're just not teaching it, right? The doctors aren't learning. When we spoke to Dr. Harris, he said as far as he was aware, the last time he actually looked into the numbers, which was around 2018, I think he said 17% of medical schools were teaching about the endocannabinoid system. 17%. That's it. And I also asked him, in your opinion, how important is the endocannabinoid system in maintaining balance in our bodies? And he was like, it's the most important, right? It regulates so many other systems, and cannabis allows us to stimulate that artificially, right? We're already producing our own endocannabinoids. So we produce cannabinoids as we are, and then you add the phytocannabinoids from the plant, and you can control that action. You can make it work extra if you need to, and that's what creates a balance. And that's maybe why your kidney situation became better, right? Because your endocannabinoid system works to balance out your body. It works to find stasis, and that may have been exactly why you had that really positive experience, because by including cannabis, the endocannabinoid system worked harder, right? So
that could have been it. I mean, I had genetic kidney disease. They're saying it was genetic, They didn't
thank
know
you,
what caused my
Frankenbeans.
kidney disease, but I had kidney disease, so they called it genetic.
Right.
So you are very much correct. Cannabinoids could have been what balanced out my kidney disease to where my kidneys are functioning better. I don't know. I'm not smart enough, and I don't want to be smart enough, honestly, to understand that stuff. I just know that it worked for me, and I am no longer facing dialysis because that is not a life that I wanted to face at all.
And at the end of the day, what really matters? Exactly what you just said. It worked for me.
Right, and that's the whole thing in the long run is it's your quality of life, and who's to tell you how you want to feel? I just can't understand like how you can be told no, this is too much, or to even say the whole grams, how many grams a day you're allowed to have. That's ridiculous.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
No, it
See,
doesn't.
somebody wrote it earlier about Pennsylvania. I feel like Pennsylvania was supposed to they were supposed to be one of the first states, like we were supposed to be before New York, before New Jersey, before a couple of the other ones that have now recently just become. But I feel like and I'm hoping, I don't know, but I'm hoping that they're just watching all the other states and then they're slowly implementing things so that they're done properly and here, because I mean, the things that they have done, like I don't know, we don't have any pre-rolls here. Some stuff frustrates me.
You don't really want them anyway.
Yeah, well, I don't, and we don't have edibles here. I mean, we have the powder, the nano emulsified powder drink,
which is the best method of delivery there can be. Nano emulsified cannabinoids.
Steve Shardell just said it's probably one of the best with medical. They're doing a really good job with medical overall, I feel. I mean, but like I was saying before, my struggle is bigger with the price. If it wasn't the price, I mean, if I could afford to take the amount of medicine that I need every day, I would be great. But unfortunately, it's not covered by insurance.
Yeah. Which will change. As we saw the other day, we went through the article about Cannabis there in New Jersey, and I can't remember what the other company was called, but the insurance companies that have put together a program to start presenting to employers if they want to include that in an employee's benefit package that will cover the cost of medical cannabis. But it's so true, right? But it's hard to say in the States because all prescription medication in the U.S. is very expensive. No matter what, it's prohibitively expensive. I'm sure many people have to, especially older people, have to decide between medication or food.
It's all about the almighty dollar here.
Yeah, but it's just as bad in Canada when it comes to medical cannabis because here it's the same thing, right? Like if you're a medical cannabis patient, you're still buying your cannabis and you're not receiving any real discounted rates or anything like that. And some people, like let's say for me, when I was diagnosed with 50 grams a day, imagine how much that would have cost, right? If I wasn't able to produce my own.
Well, that's can I cut in again? That's what I was talking about before with Steve. Like maybe they do because it's Australia. Maybe he needs to talk to them and tell them that he's juicing it so that they give him more of a bigger prescription.
They would know right away he was lying because you can only juice fresh plant material. So he would have to be cultivating to juice. Right, you have to harvest that plant material fresh. You can't juice it.
Okay.
So,
all right.
You couldn't get away with that.
Damn it!
It's a good idea, but
I was trying. I'm trying to help my buddy. I don't want my buddy to be in pain, and they're not giving him any. They're not giving him nearly enough.
Has he discussed it with his doctor yet about increasing?
Well, him and I were just discussing it the other day, and there is a language barrier between I don't speak.
You don't speak Australian?
I don't speak Crocodile Dundee, so it's very hard for me.
I mean,
all I can say is that's not a knife. This is a knife. That's it. I'm pretty much done with my Australian.
I mean, it all begins in that environment with talking with your doctor. If you're in a state or in Canada where cannabis is legal for recreational use, then you can really do your own thing, right? You can take your doctor's recommendation and you can adjust to your own needs. But in states where that's not possible, such as Dr. Harris says he puts concentrate restrictions on some patients. Concentrates can be really beneficial for patients, especially those experiencing a lot of pain, because it's intense and it's almost instant delivery, right?
Instantaneous.
Yeah, so
yeah, I
you
mean,
can
the
look
first
at-
hit, you're like, okay.
Yeah, you can look at edibles or capsules for long term, right? Like before bed.
Overnight, right? I was just gonna say, overnight
That
is a
extended
long.
exposure. That's when you can look at edibles and things.
That's
like
what
that.
I suggested to
Sometimes
Steve.
you need relief now.
I suggested that to Steve. Is I said, Steve, maybe you need to talk to them about telling them that you need to cook it and that you're going to need more because you're going to have to decarboxylize, and that you're having a hard time smoking it, and that maybe you need to eat it. So because he's having most of his pain. I mean, during the day he's up, he's able to smoke a couple joints. He's only allowed a couple joints, for fuck's sake. But but then he's in bed all night and he's tossing and turning and he's in excruciating pain all night. And I'm like, you need to eat something that's going to last 4 or 5 hours, and then maybe get up and eat another one and last 4 or 5 hours, and get a good night's 10 hours sleep every night. It's not like you have to get up to go to work or anything. You're disabled. I don't know.
But you should still get a full night's rest, because your body can't heal itself if it's always
quality of life,
always tired, right? Like
Right.
you have to get proper rest in order to heal, because we heal while we sleep.
Lee Hacker and Skunkle Al, somehow you guys got muted. Let me look around. Did you guys mute yourselves?
I did mute myself. I went on a coughing fit and I forgot to unmute. Sorry.
Skunkle Al, you're muted as well. I don't know. Are you farting?
It's the
No.
That's okay.
Actually, I muted because my dogs were howling.
We love dogs here.
The fire whistle was blowing.
That's all right. We don't mind dogs here. We like dogs. We're a dog
We're
family.
funny and furry friends. We're all about all of them.
Our
Love
furry
dogs.
friends.
Well,
we got about 9 minutes. We got about 9 minutes left.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I got about 9 minutes left. I got to do those commercials again. And then we'll wrap up. We can talk about you guys' shows and stuff like that, and we'll wrap up. But let us do these commercials real quick. We'll be right back. You're hanging with Da.Hippie and Dr.High and the Cannabis Chronicles on WTHC.
Say bye-bye to bottled water. Holistic Health Water has certified medical-grade water ionizers that make 7 types of water, including healthy alkaline. There's a 5-micron filter that lasts up to a year, and each machine lasts 25 to 30 years. Simply attach to your faucet or install under your sink. Even get a mineral spa unit for your shower. Go to ownyourwater.org to get a free ebook. Plus, pay for any machine in full and get an extra filter free. Change your water and change your life. Ownyourwater.org.
Hey, Mrs. Hippie, why don't we take a ride to Dauphin, PA today?
Dauphin? What's in Dauphin?
Bella's Badass Crystals.
Oh, but I thought you hung out with them on Facebook and on TikTok.
You good?
That's only Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturdays.
I'm like a motherfucker.
Today, I want to go there and pick up all
I got
my-
a piss like a motherfucker.
That sounds like a great
Go ahead.
You
got time.
Badass
Okay,
Crystals.
I'll be right back.
I don't want nobody.
Mountain in
We're getting
Dauphin,
old. We
PA.
can't hold that shit.
I hear you. All right, I'll be right back.
Go let it out.
Take your time, bro.
The time gets shorter between notification and the need to take action.
We don't need kidney stones on my account.
I understand more than once on this show.
Contact Sorge at 1-636-234-1535.
I was being serious when I said that earlier about the fact
I
that
didn't know you had to wreck the whole house, Al.
being 4 older guys sitting here talking about cannabis. Could you imagine when you were a younger man tuning in and teaching four older gentlemen with knowledge,
Yeah,
talking about the benefits of cannabis?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
No,
Back then it was Cheech and Chong living the stoner life, living up to the stigma. Fuck that shit.
Well, you know, there's still a place for it, because comedy belongs everywhere in life. It's good to laugh.
You need to check out You Happy.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, when I was a kid, the only thing I heard about weed was through Cheech and Chong, through comedians that were openly talking about it.
Vinyl
I
stickers,
get it.
banners.
There was no education involved. There was no, this is what helped me personally involved. Nobody was telling their own personal stories. And here we are, 4 gentlemen, talking about it. And it blows my mind. It really does.
Check her
Yeah,
out.
no,
You
it's
Happy.
You know, like,
Etsy and
just kind of
TikTok.
an aside to
Are you
that.
tired of having a dirty brown booty hole?
If
Do you wish your booty hole was pure white?
Somebody who is running.
You need to call us at 1-800 Bleach My Booty Hole, and we will show you how to do this all naturally. For just $19.95 plus $3.95 shipping and handling, we will send you an instructional manual complete with illustrations on how to put your legs behind your head while on the lawn chair and point your booty hole towards the sun properly. We will teach you how to spread your cheeks so that the sun can naturally bleach all those cracks and crevices that you can't reach otherwise. Now, and we will throw in a pair of sunglasses to protect your eyes, but not your booty hole.
He was an old time.
1-800 Bleach My Booty Hole naturally now.
You knowledgeable in Middletown, New York area? Revamp your space. Collins Paints LTD. Ugly walls, Collins Paints. Collins Painting.
Are you okay? He said, I just want to thank you for bringing me here because I never thought in my life I would be able to sit in a restaurant, a real restaurant, and smoke
real professional painters who will turn your vision into reality. Call Collins Paint LTD today. Get a fast and easy quote. Monday through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call the
sooner or later we're going to get to the point where the stigma is broken.
Discover the natural path to wellness.
It's coming.
And concentrates. Herbs with a passion for holistic health. We are your trusted source for premium herbs and concentrates.
Wait a minute, did I have weed?
Our dedicated team is here to guide you on your wellness journey. Open 7 days a week, 10 to 10, ensuring you have access to what you need when you need it most. Tailored Herbs and Concentrates is located at 2941 Highway 11, Burnt Church, New Brunswick, Canada. If you need assistance anytime,
I need weed.
Just call 506-871-4299. Tailored Herbs and Concentrates.
Where all the potheads go.
Oh, yeah, baby, it's Muck Sticky, and you're blazing with WTHC Radio on Live 365 and TuneIn.
WTHC, we're back. You're hanging with the Cannabis Chronicles with Da.Hippie and DoktorHigh, and we have Skunkle Al and Lee Hacker hanging with us from Two Fat Buds and the 420 Campfire.
Yeah.
So we're just about to wrap up. I want to thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. I had a great time. It was a great conversation. We can do this again, absolutely, in the near future. Especially once we go over to CBG TV. We'll love to have you back on and have a conversation over there. What I wanted to do is I want you guys to talk to you, tell everybody again, last chance, tell them about your shit, tell them about the 420 Campfire and what nights it's on and everything. And I'll tell them that they're going to be coming over here and you'll be able to hear it on Saturday mornings, probably around 11 a.m. Don't quote me on that yet. We'll see if I get it on before the show or after, depending on my mood. But it'll be on Saturdays for sure. And then go ahead. I guess Al, Skunkle Al first with 420 Campfire info.
What'd you cover? Two Fat Buds, Skunkle Al.
I mean, yeah, Two Fat Buds. I meant Two Fat Buds. I read the 420 Campfire sign behind them, and that's what.
No worries. Two Fat Buds. What we do is we have a program that runs, we try to record every Thursday night. It's a 30-minute program. And we get people on there such as yourself, Da.Hippie. You've been on our program once.
Absolutely.
And it was a blast. I mean, that was a total blast to have you
I had
on.
a great time too. I wanted to stay longer, but you kicked me out.
I know. It was our mistake, man.
You guys were both having grandbabies that night. That was the night we were both having grandbabies.
Yeah, we were talking about the grandbabies. That's right.
That's right. Yeah. You both had grandbabies since then, I hope. Yes.
No, yes. Mine doesn't come until December.
That's right. You found out that night. You had the reveal that day or recently. Yes. And then Lee's was born that night or later the next morning, I think, right?
Yep, next morning. Next morning, my granddaughter was born. As a matter of fact, my wife leaves me for 4 days next week. On Friday, she comes back Monday to go to Colorado to meet her first grandchild, which is her granddaughter.
Nice.
Yeah. That's nice. All right, so go back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Al. Go ahead. So you do the podcast.
Yep. Yeah, we record every Thursday night. and we try to get new episode out every Friday morning. We posted on
YouTube.
We posted on YouTube and Spotify. I was getting there.
Sorry.
Okay, it's a brain fart. We all have them.
And now WTHC Radio
Absolutely
coming at you with Two Fat Buds.
Yep.
Woohoo.
I'm excited. I'm very excited for it. I look forward to it, and I want to welcome
There's going to be a
you
lot
guys
of fat
aboard.
buds on WTHC Radio.
What it's all about. Big fat buds. Big fat buds.
Yep.
Big fat buds.
Let me pimp out 420 Campfire real quick.
Absolutely.
420 Campfire is a Facebook group. You can find us on Facebook at the numbers 420 Campfire. We're also a nonprofit that raises money to help homeless vets. So you can check out what we're doing at 420campfire.com on our website. We specialize in hosting chat rooms. Is what we thrive for on the group page, where you can go in with other like-minded people, sit there and smoke. We play games. We listen to music. We talk about our daily fucking problems. Whatever it is.
Definitely read the rules, though. Read the rules before you go in. And don't be a man. Don't be a man and just go in, because you will get yelled at. You will get yelled at if you break the rules.
In there smoking weed, having a good time, loving each other, and it's all about spreading love and awareness of cannabis. Period.
Absolutely. I am going to say that you guys are amazing. I love you both so very much, and I can't thank you enough. DoktorHigh, anything you want to add before we go?
I just submitted my application to join the 420 Campfire. It's unusual.
Awesome.
There's a cannabis group on Facebook that I haven't become a part of yet, but I've just submitted my application. Hopefully, I'll be approved.
You might be.
Second, I will take care of that for you personally.
I'll put a good word in for you.
Hippie DoktorHigh, thank you so much for having us on your show.
You guys stick around after we sign off. You guys can stick around if you don't mind for a second after we sign off, so you guys
thanks for spending your time with us today. It's been really great.
They can find Two Fat Buds on YouTube and Spotify under Two Fat Buds. It's the number 2 FAT. You guys should have definitely said PHAT, as in pretty hot and tempting.
Nah, we're fat. We know we're fat.
But our women still love us this way.
Yeah.
That's right.
Chubby lovers. Gotta love our chubby lovers.
Yes.
Anyway, and then of course, Campfire. Get your asses over there. It's a great place to go sit and hang out and get high with a bunch of great people. Just make sure you read the rules. Guys, thank you so very much for being here, and we will be in touch very, very soon. Everybody out there on Live 365 and tune in. Stick around for Can't Keep a Job Bob. Everybody over here on Facebook and YouTube, you guys will be back tomorrow at noon. DoktorHigh and I with the Cannabis Chronicles. Thank you so very much for being here, and have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Stay safe and stay stoned.
Have a great day, y'all.
Peace.